Hello, beautiful souls. I am Isabel Gloria. Welcome to Rooted in the Cosmos podcast. I wish to empower you to seek truth from within and to reconnect with your cosmic self by sharing my own wisdom and journey with you. I am so grateful that you're spending this time with me today. And now, let us explore our roots in the cosmos. In today's episode, we are going to talk about the soul. And I know, it sounds super lame for a spiritual podcast to talk about the soul because it is the base of everything and we think we know everything about it. But I truly believe that not a lot of people actually have a concept of what the soul truly is, and they couldn't really explain if someone would ask them to really explain what the soul truly is. And my passion has always been and will always be to explain large spiritual concepts in a way that is understandable for everyone and to truly connect people with their inner knowing and to empower them to really look for that wisdom within rather than just reading books about it or listening to other people. You may resonate with what they have to say, but do you actually truly feel it in your heart? I always say you have two times of understanding something. First, you understand it with your brain and you're like, wow, that makes sense. I am mind blown. But then after a while, when you truly integrate that knowledge, you understand it with your heart. And that's when you're really confident about that knowledge because you feel the truth in your heart and you truly feel how valuable it is to know this, and you just feel the truth of that for you in every cell of your body. And this is what I want to have for everybody who's listening to this or who I'm sharing my wisdom with, because these heartfelt moments, these heart realizations have brought me so much closer to my truth, and they are the moments that matter because it truly means that we have remembered something from deep inside, and it is not just something we have picked up from the outside and we resonate with, but it is something that we've already known and someone just triggered that memory inside of us. And I really hope to be able to do that, at least for a few of you. So that's why I feel it is necessary to talk about the soul and to share my part on it. And that's why I want to have this episode to be solely about the soul. And I really hope after this episode you will have a deeper understanding of your own soul and of who you truly are. And yeah, I think I'm gonna dive right in. So for many people, it might even be the key question that makes them start their spiritual journey. And the question is, what is a soul and do we have one? So in many cultures, a soul is imagined as an ethereal substance that resides inside a body and leaves the body when we die to go to the heavens or to reincarnate in another body, depending on what religion you are believing in. So due to my personal experiences and insights, I feel like this is a very simplified way of saying that a soul is a non-physical force that is connected to our bodies. See your soul as your essence that goes beyond body, personality, language, or human understanding, and you would have something that you can call consciousness or intelligent energy. And I actually prefer it to call it like that because in essence, this is what a soul is. It is a state of being, it is intelligent energy, and no matter what or who you're looking at, everything and everyone has consciousness. It just depends of how much and what level of consciousness those things or people have or beings have, and this is the difference. But even a one-cell organism has some level of consciousness, and they are all part. Everything that you can think of is all part of existence and is all part of consciousness. And even your furniture you're sitting on right now has some level of consciousness. It is just completely different from a human being, for example, and it expresses itself differently, but it is still there, and it is still intelligent energy, and it was once created, and it is just part of all that is, and all that is intelligent energy that is doing stuff. I don't know if you know this term, but it's very popular in the spiritual community, and it goes something like, you don't have a soul, you are a soul, you have a body. And even though I partly resonate with this, I don't fully agree, because it indicates that our true essence is the soul, and our bodies are merely just vessels through which we can express ourselves in a physical way. And I see that a lot in the spiritual community, that people are not really valuing their bodies as part of their soul, because they think it's just literally just a vessel. They enter and leave, and the soul is their true essence. Our body is as much an expression of our soul as our thoughts are and as our consciousness is. The non-material aspects are just intangible. You can touch them and you can see them. And the physical aspects are obviously physical, and you can see them, you can touch them. You're like physically, your body is a physical object that you can touch. But your soul is active and alive on so many different levels, and those levels are material and non-material expressions. A soul doesn't have a location within the body. It is the entire body plus all the non-material elements on all different dimensions. And although our soul includes the physical parts of our existence, it is not limited to them or dependent on them, and it can depart from the body. So our non-physical aspects of our soul can continue to live on even if your body is not there anymore, but our body is not sustainable without that connection to those non-physical parts. But this doesn't make our body just a vessel. It is like, what is your body made of? It is made of consciousness, and it is the physical translation of your soul, and how your soul, you could say how your soul looks in a physical dimension. It is translated into physicality from consciousness. So by talking about these things, I can't avoid talking about multidimensionality, because it's really important, even though this is a whole other episode and I could talk about this for probably years, because there's so much to it. So simply said, you exist on different levels. You can imagine them as layers that exist in the same location at the same time. And similar to light waves that we can see, for example, UV light or infrared, these light waves are always part of our surroundings, and they could be in the same room with you. They're just on another frequency that you are not able to perceive with your physical senses. So this is how dimensions work. You could be in your room and there's a whole other life going on a different dimension, and you just can't perceive that because you vibrate on a different frequency. And that's why you're not even aware of it happening within the same room, within the same space that you are in. So similar to that, your soul or your consciousness resides on different levels or layers, and it is focused more on some of these layers than on others. So you are overly aware of your physical layer. So your physical being, your body, the world you see every day, the world you're meeting friends in, this is your physical and therefore lowest or most dense expression of your soul. But it doesn't make your body just a vessel for your soul. Your body is your soul on that dimension. It is the physical expression of your soul. And the higher the frequency, the less physical the expression gets. So therefore, you exist on a multitude of levels in different yet connected form. And your soul projects itself down these steps and dimensions and becomes more and more physical in the process. And by stepping down these dimensions or layers, the soul does not actually move. It just changes frequency and leaves a blueprint on every level. So all of these blueprints are part of your soul and your being in its entirety. So your body is part of your soul as much as your highest self and your highest expression of your consciousness, which is certainly not physical, but it is just as much your soul as your body is. Your body is just the physical expression of your consciousness and of your intelligent energy that is making you you. If you think of it, have you ever wondered why when someone is staring at you and you even have your back turned against them, you can still notice it. You just know that someone's staring and you have that, you just notice, and it's not comfortable. And these are your non-physical senses that overlap with your physical body. So there are several ethereal, energetic bodies around your physical body that reside on different levels and dimensions. And those dimensions have a frequency close to your physical body, and these are called your auric field. So those dimensions and those frequencies you exist on that are very close to your physical expression are still kind of noticeable for you because the frequency is similar to your body. And because they are so similar, you are able to tune into it. So there are layers around you, or there's an auric field around you that is still part of you. And if someone is setting their focus on that energy, you can perceive that. And obviously it's not as obvious as someone is touching your body or grabbing your arm or something, but you can still tell if someone is staring at you, and you also feel uncomfortable if someone is coming too close to you that you don't like or you're not comfortable enough with. And this is because they are actually stepping into your own auric field and into your own soul's expression that is like an energy force field around you. And this is because you feel uncomfortable, because they're crossing the line and they're stepping into your own non-physical energy field. And this is not a nice feeling to experience if you are not completely comfortable with that person. It feels weird if someone is stepping over that line. And this is why. This is because it is literally part of your soul, and it is a non-physical aspect of you that is being irritated. So if we think about soul, we also have to think about incarnation. And in order for a baby to be born, there has to be a soul on a higher dimension who decides to be born as a human first. A soul never enters your body. The body is created in the image of the soul. The soul starts to lower its vibration as soon as it decides to be born as a human. And there has to be a frequency match between the parents and the soul that decides to incarnate. So a soul can't just incarnate into a mother that doesn't agree with that decision on a soul level. So it's all pre-planned and pre-birth planned. It's a soul contract between souls. But that consciousness has to decide to be born, and then it starts to lower its vibration in order to match the biological matter of mother and father, because those are obviously lower vibrational parts, and the higher vibrational parts of the soul can merge and start to express themselves through physical matter as soon as they lower their own frequency. Through that mix of those energies and those vibrations, the baby starts to grow in the image of the soul, and in the image of how that soul looks on a physical level. So if you look at a baby, this is the exact translation of non-physical soul into physicality, and you can look at a soul in physicality. Isn't that beautiful if you think about it that way? So your body is simply the result of how your original frequency, your essence, translates into physicality. Your body is how your soul looks in a physical form. That's so cool. I think when I first heard about this and when I truly resonated with that knowledge, and I thought it was so cool, and I looked at everyone in a different way. Like, I can see your soul, like, literally when I look at your body, and that's so beautiful. So the question is obvious. Do we have a soul? Yes, we are our soul. All of us is part of our soul. Body, thoughts, consciousness, our awareness. Our soul is able to exist without a body. simply by not projecting itself into the third dimension. So the physical realm we act in as humans is not necessary for a soul to exist. It is just an extension that a soul is committing to because it wants to experience physicality. So a body is dependent on a soul because it is literally the soul in physical form. But the soul is not dependent on a body because it can just decide not to project itself further into a physical dimension and just exist on non-physical dimensions. And it's not dependent on the body. So if a soul decides to leave the body when we die, it simply stops projecting itself into the third dimension, and therefore the life force for the body is cut off. So it just cuts this connection, and the body therefore dies. And because physical matter is dense and the body doesn't disappear right away when it is not connected to the higher expressions anymore, the momentum which was created, which is the body is the momentum of that soul, remains in the physical realm until it leaves through one of the elements, like earth when it is being buried, fire when it is being burned. It just leaves through an element because the physical dimension is not immediate. You always have to wait for things to grow or to die. That's why the body is being left behind, but the energy stored in that body is being turned into non-physical consciousness and is able to go back to a non-physical expression. So that energy the body holds is stored in that body, and when we die and when this energy slowly starts to leave the physical realm, it starts to continue its journey through the dimensions again and joins with the other non-physical aspects of that soul. Your physical body is your soul, is how your soul looks in the physical realm. It is not a vessel. It is not something insignificant. It is your literal soul in physical form. It is how your soul looks in the third dimension, in the physical dimension. And it is as much part of your consciousness, your soul, as your highest expression and all the expressions in between. It is so beautiful to realize this, and it helps you also to look at your body in a different way, because how you look and how you are, and even if you have some disabilities or something like that, I myself, I have a complicated heart defect which has led me to a lot of struggles in my life, but I don't see it as damage. It's just how my soul is translated and how I am supposed to be in physical form and how I am supposed to look and be like. And I just accept this, and I think it's beautiful to have that ability to see it like that, because it just helps a lot to have more acceptance towards your own body and towards how you are and towards your physical struggles you may have. And so I really hope this was a little bit inspirational for you, and that you come out of this episode with a new insight of what a soul truly is. And when the next time someone asks you, what actually is a soul and do we have a soul, you are able to explain to them that they are their soul and that they are much larger than they think. You are your soul and you are perfect as you are. And we will talk in the next episode. Bye bye.